Hello dear viewers, a warm welcome to this edition of the News in English on Rwanda Television. My name is Serge Hori. We'll begin with the headlines. Rwanda's Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation has addressed the 79th session of the United Nations General Assembly in New York. The Rwanda Defense Force has officially welcomed a new cohort of young men and women into its ranks following the completion of 6 months of intense military training at the Basic Military Training Center in Nasho, that's in Kirehe district. And on the international scene, lawmakers from both major political parties in the US have called for cooling of the nation's heated political rhetoric 6 weeks before the November 5th presidential election. Now the details. Thank you again for taking the time to join us. Now on Saturday, Prime Minister Dr. Edouard Ngirente appreciated the China Road and Bridge Corporation Rwanda office upon its 50th anniversary ceremony, saying it underscores its significant impact on Rwanda's development in the infrastructure sector. We have the details with Adams Kwizera.
On Saturday, Prime Minister Dr. Edouard Ngirente attended the 50th anniversary celebration of the China Road and Bridge Corporation, a Chinese company that has been instrumental in building roads and infrastructure in Rwanda. Their projects include Tivu Belt Road in Western Province, and as well as various roads and bridges throughout Kigali and across the country. Lin Hang, chargé d'affaires at the Chinese embassy in Kigali, said infrastructure works by CRBC echoed so well with bilateral relations between China and Rwanda, recently elevated to a comprehensive strategic partnership.
One thing is the infrastructure. The road and bridge is their specialty and the profession. And also because they have, around 70% of the paved roads in Rwanda was constructed by the China Road and Bridge Company in Rwanda. Also, the signature road project, like the Phase 1 project, that highway to the airport, is constructed by this company. And also, the famous road that leads to the KGM is also constructed by the company. So that's the landmark, signature road, what they have doing. The second thing is empowerment, job creation, because the Rwanda, the local teams are very smart, and also like today, we witness, the best awards for the best performance of the Rwanda local team. There are also several generations that are working in this company.
Prime Minister Dr. Edouard Ngirente noted that the partnership has also facilitated technology transfer and skills development, providing local workers with invaluable experience through their involvement in various projects.
Our partnership has also facilitated technology transfer and skills development, providing local workers with invaluable experience through their involvement in various projects. Furthermore, the improved infrastructure has attracted foreign investment to Rwanda, making it an increasingly attractive destination for business operations. Distinguished guests, as you recall, earlier this month, leaders from China, Africa and China met for the 2024 Forum on China-Africa Cooperation Summit. This was a good opportunity to reaffirm the importance of China-Africa relations. Interestingly, as has been also mentioned by the previous speakers, it is worth noting that Rwanda and China have elevated their bilateral relationship to a comprehensive strategic partnership status. This truly demonstrates our strong, long-standing and friendly bilateral cooperation between Rwanda and China.
CRBC has created over 500,000 jobs in Rwanda, which has successfully undertaken over 60 major projects, of which 10 are ongoing. It employs 2,200 local staff members accounting for more than 96% of the whole team, among whom nearly 20% are women. Adams Kwizera, RwandaTV News.
Thank you, Adams. Now, the Rwanda Defense Force has officially welcomed a new cohort of young men and women into its ranks following the completion of 6 months of intense military training at the Basic Military Training Center in Nasho, Kirehe District. The pass-out ceremony was officiated by the RDF Chief of Defense Staff, General Mubarak, and attended by senior military officers, including generals, senior officers, junior officers, and other ranks from the RDF. During the event, the graduates showcased their skills they had acquired throughout their training, including proficiency in arms handling and various tactical drills, underscoring their readiness for operational duties. In his speech, General Mubarak congratulated the new recruits for their resilience and determination throughout the demanding training period. He welcomed them into the RDF family and urged them to apply the knowledge and skills gained to protect Rwanda's sovereignty and safeguard its citizens. He also emphasized the importance of upholding the RDF's core values, particularly discipline, as they integrate and work alongside their fellow service members. Now, regional trade is an important aspect of development for any country or any region, and key to that are what we call trade corridors. With us in the studio is Dr. John Deng Diarding, who is the Executive Secretary of the Northern Corridor Secretariat, to discuss an important initiative in the region. Doctor, welcome.
Thank you very much, Serge.
Now, for the sake of some of our viewers who may not know what the Northern Corridor is, can you begin by giving us a brief explanation?
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. Northern Corridor is a multimodal mode of transport that links the maritime port of Mombasa with the hinterland countries of East and Central Africa. It was established in 1985 by 4 countries of Rwanda, Kenya, Burundi, and Uganda. It was later joined by DRC in 1987 and South Sudan in 2012. The purpose of the Northern Corridor is to facilitate seamless mobility of goods and services from the maritime port of Mombasa to hinterland countries, and to give the countries that are hinterland, the landlocked countries, the right of access to international maritime transportation and trade without hindrance. So the secretariat that manages the Northern Corridor is called Northern Corridor Transit and Transport Coordination Authority, is based in Mombasa. We develop framework around which we monitor the performance of the corridor to ensure that cost of doing business, transit time, and productivity of the corridor is protected and enhanced.
Now, on Monday, a press conference will be held concerning an important initiative along the corridor. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, thank you very much again. We are in Rwanda to launch a road safety awareness campaign. Part of what we do to facilitate trade is to ensure that the infrastructure is of high quality and is safe for our cargo and the people that move on it. So in Rwanda, for the last 5 years, we have had a drawn-out program that mapped out all black spots along the Northern Corridor routes, of which in Rwanda here we did about 950 kilometers of roads where we pointed out areas that are dangerous for our truckers. And we were able to develop guidelines. So now what we are doing now, we have made recommendations after our assessment, and these recommendations are the ones that we would like to inform the public about. So tomorrow we shall be launching a campaign that will run for about 1 week along our routes to all the international borders of Rwanda and within Rwanda. And the idea is to ensure that all road users, the drivers, the pedestrians, and the non-motorized traffic users are aware of their responsibilities and the risks that are found on our corridor. So tomorrow will be to launch this campaign, and we are calling upon the citizens of Rwanda to take the time to listen to our campaign because it's life-saving.
Now, on a more personal note, you recently ascended to the position of Executive Secretary of the Corridor. What are your plans for the foreseeable future in this capacity?
Yeah, thank you very much. Having risen from within the institution, I have a clear sight of the things that I would like to do. Principally speaking, the Northern Corridor is charged with the responsibility of improving custom processes, is improving infrastructure and transport means, is also promoting inland water transport. So during my tenure, I will generally invest in development of infrastructure. That is where necessary, because the 4 modes of transport, which is rail, road, Inland waterways and pipelines are the modes we use. In countries like Rwanda, that's waiting to have the standard gauge railway lines, we shall work very hard to ensure that Uganda is able to develop its part of the infrastructure so that we can reach Kigali. On inland water transport, we are working very hard to ensure that Lake Victoria is able to be a means of transport that can access Rwanda, and we are working with the government of Rwanda to see to it that the Akagera River has access to Lake Victoria. On the other side, we are trying to open up connection with DRC in a more seamless manner. Now that the port of Rubavu has been constructed, we're trying to promote the inland water transport across Lake Kivu to DRC. And on the other part, I'm trying to concentrate on the programs around Rwanda, because I would like the citizens of Rwanda to appreciate what we do to reduce cost of doing business. To reduce cost of doing business and ease business environment in the region. So part of what we are going to do generally is to ensure that we give the government and the citizens of Rwanda access to maritime port of Mombasa by making easy any blockage that might have been blocking the facilitation of trade towards Rwanda. And one of the things we are going to work with the government of Rwanda is the opening of Taveta Olili, border of Tanzania. This is the shortest route to Rwanda from Mombasa. It is not yet open, and we are working around the clock to see to it that this is open to improve the goods that come to Rwanda in terms of volumes and reduce the cost of transport.
Very important objectives. Now, finally, is there anything else you would like to add before we conclude this interview?
I'm happy to be in Rwanda today. I have worked for the last 8 years with the government and the people of Rwanda, and I'm so impressed with the level of efficiency I always come around here. What I would like to urge is the collaboration, the support I've had with the people of Rwanda for the last 7 years in a different capacity. Now that being an executive secretary, who feel always at home in Kigali, I would like now to walk the talk with the government of Rwanda in implementing some of these programs that I have brought as my vision of my term in the office.
Dr. John Deng Diarding, the Executive Secretary of the Northern Corridor Secretariat, thank you for taking the time to speak to Rwanda Television.
Thank you so much for having me, Serge, and RwandaTV.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Now, moving on. As we noted in the headlines, the 79th session of the United Nations General Assembly is now underway in New York, and Rwanda's Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation has addressed the gathering. Take a look.
Indeed, the summit represents a landmark moment in our shared endeavor to shape a more equitable, sustainable, and peaceful world. For Rwanda, the Pact for the Future is a testament of our collective vision and commitment to addressing the most pressing challenges of our time. I also wish to congratulate you, Mr. President, on assuming the presidency of the 79th session of the UN General Assembly. Rwanda is committed to working closely with you, and you can count on our full support throughout your tenure as we advance shared goals of global peace, sustainable development, and multilateral cooperation. Madam President, I want to express our sincere appreciation to the co-facilitators of the Pact for the Future, the facilitators of the Global Digital Compact, and the political dialogue for the future generations. Your dedication towards shaping this comprehensive and forward-looking outcome is commendable, and we are grateful for your invaluable contributions. As we welcome this historical pact, we must reaffirm our resolve to the principles and actions that underpin each of its 5 chapters. As Rwanda, we commit to aspirations contained in these outcomes. Our ultimate goal is to ensure that future generations inherit a world that is not only sustainable but also equitable and just for this generation and those to come. Rwanda understands too well the importance of unity and collective decision-making, and we look forward to contributing globally, recognizing that our decisions today will shape the world of tomorrow. Madam President, it is crucial to recognize that this summit is not an end, but the beginning of transformative actions essential to the well-being of our global community. The challenges we face are profound, yet the opportunities before us are immense. Change is an inevitable part of our journey, and it is our responsibility to ensure that this change is purposeful and beneficial for future generations. To effectively address the complex challenges we face, we must embrace a mindset that is both adaptive and forward-thinking, and this requires us to first reform our mindsets, shift from reactive to proactive approaches, embracing innovative solutions and collaborative strategies that address root causes rather than symptoms. Second, foster resilience. Build resilient systems and structures that are adaptable to evolving challenges and capable of supporting sustainable development. Rwanda is prepared to collaborate with all member states and stakeholders to ensure that the principles of the Pact for the Future are realized through concrete and coordinated actions. Together, let us embark on turning our aspirations Pact into tangible results that will benefit all humanity. Madam President, all chapters in the Pact of the Future emphasize the urgency of addressing climate change, strengthening global health systems, preparing for future pandemics, resolving the root causes of conflict for lasting peace, harnessing the transformative potential of technology and innovation, and reforming global governance to enhance multilateral cooperation for effective global challenge management. The Summit of the Future thus presents a crucial opportunity to address these challenges collectively and strategically, setting the stage for a more sustainable, equitable, and peaceful world. After the summit, we must keep the moment to drive reforms in global governance structures, enhancing multilateral cooperation, and creating more effective frameworks to tackle global challenges. With this, let us reaffirm our resolve and dedication to the principles that underpin each of its 5 chapters. To conclude, Mr. President, Madam President, we must shift from the old way of business as usual in maintenance of peace and security and foster dialogue and collaborative strategies to address the root causes of conflict and promote long-term peace and security. Thank you.
Rwanda's Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation addressing the 79th session of the United Nations General Assembly in New York. Now, the World Bank's 23rd edition of the Rwanda Economic Update noted that between 2021 and 2023, Rwanda created 500,000 new jobs, leading to a significant 7% reduction in unemployment. As a result, the unemployment rate dropped below 5% at the beginning of this year. This achievement underscores Rwanda's strong economic growth and commitment to job creation as part of broader efforts to transform the country's economy and improve the livelihoods of citizens. Adam Squizera has the details.
The report released on September 17, 2024, highlights that retail and wholesale account for 13% of total jobs, construction for 10%, and both transport and industry each contribute 6%. The World Bank report highlights that during the period between 2021 and 2023, women were more likely to find employment than men. Among those who benefited from this opportunity are Ingabire Shimini, who was employed in the construction of accommodation projects. The skills I acquire here as a woman, it really helps me to broaden my mind as an entrepreneur and also provide jobs to youth, since they are the ones in need. In the 23rd Rwanda Economic Update, it was noted that the increased purchasing power among Rwandans has played a crucial role in driving employment. Entrepreneurs who have invested in sectors such as supermarkets and the value-added potato production industry have significantly contributed to job creation.
And we have created around 60 jobs, mostly in Musanze, where we have our factory. And there we are working with a lot of farmers, and there we make these crisps, winners. Yeah, as the market is growing, the employees are growing. So most of our employees are very young, so they come after finishing university, food sciences, for example, or crop sciences, and then they come to us. So as we are growing the market, as we also grow our team.
Agriculture played a significant role in Rwanda's labor market, accounting for 43% of all jobs, which has contributed to a drop down in unemployment to 7% since 2021 and below 15% by early 2024. Figures from the National Institute of Statistics indicate that by May 2024, around 4.3 million people were employed in Rwanda. Of this, approximately 2.8 million individuals had permanent jobs. Additionally, over 8.1 million people were eligible to work. World Bank senior economist Dr. Calvin Zebaze Jofak highlighted that the labor market in Rwanda has significantly improved over the past 3 years, largely to sustained economic growth.
The Rwandan consumer has been very confident, consuming substantially. So this growth from the demand side has been mostly driven by the consumer, by the consumption of the private sector. The banking sector has been very generous, offering loans. The labor market also improved substantially. At the same time, we're having reduction of inflation. So all this contributed, in fact, to high consumption, which really helped big time for the GDP growth in the country. The country, in terms of labor market, has fully recovered, in fact, from the loss from the COVID. The employment rate in the country, on average, increased also by 5 percentage points, which means that where we are now, the employment rate in Rwanda is around 3 percentage points higher than where we were before the COVID crisis.
Sectors such as energy, water, waste management, communications, arts and entertainment employed less than 1% of the workforce by May 2024. However, under the National Strategy for Transformation NST2, Rwanda aims to create 1,250,000 new jobs between 2024 and 2029. Adam Squizera, RwandaTV News.
Calls have been growing louder for religious organizations to look beyond sermons and miracles and instead equip their members with the necessary skills for them to be able to achieve personal economic development and growth. We have the details with William Evans Mutabazi.
In the capital Kigali and across many other parts of Rwanda, several businesses, business arcades, and other income-generating structures owned by different religious groups keep coming up. These also include restaurants, apartments, schools, hotels, and others that contribute to the government's coffers in terms of taxes. On this basis, religious observers think the time is now for these religious groups to invest even more in having such infrastructure put in place as their contribution to the country's economic development. This should actually be done by all religions as a way of supporting their followers, both spiritually and economically, because both are beneficial to those people, but also to the country in general. Otherwise, prayers alone are not enough for people's survival. Another problem that threatens the development of the country, which is mentioned in some religions, according to these observers, is the teaching of false doctrines given by evangelists who focus more on teaching faith and miracles than teaching the people to develop themselves. There is nothing else that will make us develop other than working hard. There is no way you will pray from Monday to Sunday without working and develop. It is important for all religious leaders to put more effort to match the speed of development our country is at. This should come along with teaching the right things and aligning it with our daily lives so that our people get a holistic approach to life. Not long ago, His Excellency Paul Kagame also commented on the chaos associated with some religious groups and churches who are posing as scammers, promising their followers miracles and the like falsely, saying that such practices should stop, and indicated that if necessary, laws would be enacted to require religious organizations to pay taxes. The current regulations on income and others could be re-examined. If you are teaching the right doctrine, that is okay. But for those who are money-minded and having churches as businesses, these should be looked into. The problem of false prophets and fake miracles as a result of wrong doctrines being preached on several altars is a challenge that can be traced way back in the time in most of African countries. William Evans, Mutabazi, RwandaTV News.
That is all we have time for, and as always, I am glad you were able to join us. Thank you, and see you soon. Goodbye.